This is Kira.
Yes, I am gay.
He's living in Singapore.
I get a lot of stares.
He told me his deeply personal story about growing up as a gay in a conservative society
It was almost toxic.
and his service in NS, Singapore Army.
Full on camel with a flower bag.
And my name is Max. Let's go.
Did you have any problems with your, classmates or on the street?
When I hit secondary school, that's when the whole idea of boys becoming a little bit more grown up and talking about, masturbation quite openly, right? About who like who, which guy like which girl. And then that's when I started hearing the term sissy, right? Sissy, which is a slur, kind of like, faggot. If I can't say it, but I can say it, right? I gotta take back the word. Sissy is somebody who is deemed like effeminate or deemed as somebody who likes boys who do not like girls. So there were several times during like my secondary school life, like during when I was 13, when I was 14, that people have actually called me sissy. Made me feel very uncomfortable, and it made me want to show even more masculinity in the sense that it was almost toxic to the point where it felt like I must have a certain body type, I must have a certain behavior in front of my guy friends to show that I am masculine.
Do you remember how you discovered that you like boys more than girls? When was it and how was it?
When I was 11 years old, yeah, I used to have a crush on a girl. I was like, okay. Started having like thoughts, like sexual thoughts about all these kind of things, right? I know, 11-year-old boy having sexual thoughts. But yes, so somehow or other, this kind of thing kind of got me curious, and at that point of time, there was no such thing as a sexual education, because sexual education only kicked in when you are 12 years old. I'm 11, so didn't happen for me. I had no idea what to do, so I did the next best thing, which was to go on the internet and looked it up. And when I looked up on the internet about all this like feelings, it kind of like segued into pornography. Somehow I ended up being more curious. That's when I started realizing that when I was watching all this like porn videos, that I was not looking at the girl, I was looking at the guy more. It kind of struck me, I was like, why am I looking at the guy? Shouldn't I be like looking at the act of it? But it's not the act that made me aroused. It was the man who was doing all that. That was when I started to have a certain attraction to men. I still like dated girls eventually as I grew older, but this attraction to men didn't stop. I was like, oh, okay, there are actually like social apps for gay people. So I looked it up and I met a guy, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I do have feelings for guys.
As a Singaporean citizen, you have to go to NS, to the army. Have you had this experience?
Yes, I did go to national service.
Before we go further, in my previous videos on this topic, I got few comments like this one. Let me be clear. I'm not trying to steer things in Singapore. I'm a guy with family on EP visa here. I can be easily kicked out of the country. That I wouldn't want, of course, as I love Singapore, and honestly, often I work as a Singapore advocate, explaining to my foreigner friends how things work here and why Singapore is so cool. I lived in many places, including France, Russia, US, UK, Ireland, and I consciously decided to move and stay in Singapore because it's an amazing place for me. I have a company here, I pay taxes to Singapore's economy. I would even like to have a permanent residency here. And speaking about why I'm making these videos, firstly, it's my profession, as simple as that. Some people are engineers, some are doctors. I'm a content creator. I like to tell stories of different people. I think it broadens your horizons when you speak about different matters. It makes you think, it makes you better as a person. I hope it explains why I'm doing these videos, not to offend someone or, of course, not to steer things in Singapore. So, if you like it, subscribe to this channel. If it's something that bothers you, feel free to unsubscribe and consume some other content on YouTube. Peace to everyone.
Actually, national service was a lot better for me because before national service, I had to go through ITE. I have to go through poly, which is your tertiary education. My tertiary years was very turbulent for myself because that was really the period where I started to maybe grasp the idea that potentially that I do not like girls, that I like boys. It was really when I had my bunch of friends. They were stating the very obvious that, Kira, you're gay. You are gay. And I'm like, no, I'm not gay, I have a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend, right? Part of me was like, still had that preconceived notion of what I was brought up with. Get a girlfriend, get married, have a family. That was still what I believed in. And then now the other part of me was, I'm attracted to guys. I might be also emotionally attracted to guys and want to be with a guy. I have no idea what to do with myself. And then I was like, okay, fine, maybe, yes, I am gay. Suddenly I have to go on this path that nobody has ever taught me. Like in school, nobody taught me about this. My parents would have never taught me about this. I've only heard slurs. I've only heard the stigma. Okay, fine, I have the app on my iPhone, like Grindr. So maybe I could find more guys and see what exactly is happening. So I started dating guys, like full on. And that was when one of the guys I dated was totally open to like holding hands in public, kissing in public. And I was so like, oh my god, can I actually do this? It made me anxious. It made me felt like I was doing something wrong. But he did it anyways. And the public bars, he did it in school, right in front of my classmates. And and I was like, oh, I guess there's no running away from it now. So guys, I guess, yes, I'm gay. And then all my friends at the point in time who were so supportive, I'm so thankful for them, came up to me and just like, oh yeah, we knew. Like even when you were with the girl, we knew. That's why we've been telling you. My friends were so cool about it, and it made me realize that I have people who can actually support me and who wouldn't mind if I was gay. And that empowered me to be myself. I can be myself. Let's just find my safe space and try to explore my sexuality. And the first thing that I actually played around with when it came to sexuality was fashion. And the first thing that I played around with was shoes. The first thing that I bought was a leopard print creeper, double sole creeper. And I was like, oh, okay. It made me feel so empowered because number one, it was so in your face. It's not like I'm hiding my height because I know I'm short, right? But the thing is, this is so in your face that people would see that, oh, this person is trying to be different because yes, I am different. I'm trying to tell people that I am different from everyone else. So that kind of segue into me with fashion, me playing with different cuts of articles of clothing. And it went on into my tertiary years, throughout my tertiary years. And thank God my friends who are always supportive will always tell me that, yes, this looked great, or they'll question me like, maybe not this. And I'll be like, yeah, okay, great. But eventually I kind of found my style. And that was how I kind of ended off my tertiary years with this identity that I kind of like created. Yeah, and when I have created this identity, it was less of a persona and more of a genuine showing of who I truly am. It almost feels like the straight version of me, of Kira, is not real. That was just me trying to put on a facade. That this is the actual me. And with that personality, I went into NS. Yes. So national service, of course, that is when identity is stripped away, right? Everyone has to be equal. That didn't stop me. The thing is, I was very lucky in the sense that I was able to book out every day because there are certain people in the army who had to, we call it stay in. So they had to stay in camp for the whole week before they can book out, or that means bump out of camp at the end of the week. So I have the privilege of going out home every day. And so I will always carry like a very light, like pack, like a bag, backpack, which was floral print. So can you imagine going to army in like full-on camo with a flower bag? That was me. Yeah, that was me going into camp every day for 2 years.
What about your the other guys? They discovered that you gay like straight away, or they start to think maybe, oh, this guy is different.
It turns out that as much as I tried to, try to play it equal and strip away my identity, right? I realized that being so comfortable with my friends and everything, and being so genuine with them had actually led me to be unconsciously genuine, like unapologetically gay in front of, regardless whether I'm like wearing my camo uniform or whether I'm like wearing a civilian uniform. So when I go into camp, it was a situation of, yes, maybe I need to be masculine, right? I've done it before, right? And it turns out it didn't work. All my friends, all my mates, my unit mates, knew from the get-go that I was gay, and they were talking like not behind my back, but they were just like talking to each other like, why don't you like meet Kira in the toilet for some and I was like, wait, what? You guys have been saying that about me? Like I thought I was straight acting in camp until I realized that one day somebody just came in and like, Kira, you gay, right? And I was like, Then it's like, yeah, it's okay because everyone knows. And I was like, oh. NS is a very strange place. Everyone thinks that in NS, that there is a lot of toxic masculinity happening, going around. Like everyone has to be like this macho or this like fit person that goes out and do all this like things. But the thing is, what I realized when I was in army is that the boys, every single boy who goes into national service, regardless of whether you're straight or gay or trans even, they had no choice but to be stuck in this situation for 2 years. It is in this mindset that you have no choice that kind of made people stay together, and it made people much more comfortable with each other, ironically. You know what? We are stuck in this together. How do we make our lives better? Once in a while, they will question me and they will ask me like, how does it feel to like have anal sex? Because they obviously they don't know how it feels. And then I'll just be very casual. Suddenly, national service became an open dialogue for me as a gay person to all these people who would not experience this in their lifetime, to understand what it means to live life as a gay person, right? And I would also see from their perspective, like, oh, them talking about hitting up girls, going to a KTV pub to go and like drink and hit up girls, and then there will be me who'll be like, oh yeah, I heard of that. That's the straight lifestyle, right? And then they're like, yeah, and then what about you? Like, what do you do as a gay person? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I just go out, like do shopping and whatsoever. That became such an open conversation, and it became so healthy for everyone to understand each other, regardless of your status, whether you're rich or poor, or whether you're gay or straight or everything in between. I guess the notion that the army would make a man out of you kind of thing kind of just got thrown out the door, because fun fact, I was fitter than most of the guys who were straight anyways. So
You think you were lucky with like the place where you served and with the people around you, or it's kind of maybe similar for in general? So like national service in Singapore is quite okay for like different people.
From what I've known, like even from my friends, that it is pretty much quite okay. Like I know certain friends, obviously I can't name them, but who are in a higher ranking position, even though they are like still serving as NSFs, and they even though they are higher ranking officers, they are very open about their sexuality to all their platoon or to their camp mates. So everyone knows that their superior is gay. But everything still fell in line. Everyone knows that there is a common goal, which is to get through the 2 years together, and just make the best out of your time. Because there's no point being butting heads over somebody's sexuality. I've heard stories of like gay people being discriminated in camps, but the thing is, just based off my own experience, I could see that it doesn't really happen as often as what people think. Yeah, I think the only time that I had to deal with somebody questioning me, it was this very old lady. She came up to me and questioned me about my flower bag. Yes, and asked me about, don't my parents think that it's very girly? And I was like, no, I think boys nowadays can wear flower and be metrosexual or have a feminine side, and that's totally fine. So yeah.
How's the life of gay men in Singapore, like in general?
I think it's very normal in that sense. I mean, I still do like your normal things, right? I wake up and then I have like things to do every day. So, wash up, get my clothes ready. Of course, the clothes does have a little bit more flavor, I have to say. Yeah, but and then once you doll yourself up, you just get out of the house, you go to the, you take the MRT, and then you travel and you see all these people who are just like doing their normal like morning rush. And then you get to wherever you need to go to. For me, for the past 3 years, it was school, it was studios like this. And we come in, warm up, and for me in particular, we warm up and we just work. A lot of hard work.
Do you experience any like difficulties?
Once in a while, I do get stares. In fact, on the way to this interview, I was like still getting like looks like, oh my god, is that guy like wearing a crop top? Am I a guy? Am I a girl? What am I? So yeah, I get a lot of stares, especially when it comes to clothes. But generally, it's pretty alright. Like I don't face like very direct discrimination, or at least I've been lucky enough to not face direct discrimination. Yes, except for maybe a couple of times. Those are very rare occasions. One of it was a few years back, I think, and somebody just came up to me and just asked me about my fashion choices and my clothes, and then they questioned me and said that isn't like my appearance too feminine, too girly? And I literally just talk back to said person and be like, no, I think it's my choice, it's my prerogative. And then they started questioning me and questioning like, wouldn't my parents be like disappointed with my fashion choices? And I'm like, why would they be? I mean, my parents see me on a regular basis, I'm their kid, so why would they question such a like seemingly or rather like an anomaly, right? Because to me it's very normal. Yeah, to them it's very normal as well.
For a long time, being gay in Singapore was technically illegal. It was due to the law 377A, which officially criminalized sex between men. In recent years, 377A was unenforced, and in November 2022, Singaporean parliament voted for its repeal.
I think what people want is not just to repeal 377A. 377A is just the very first step of, as what they said in Pink Dot, a very long journey. Because as of now, we can't get married, right? So we can't actually buy a public house till we are 35. Yes, and that in itself is already one huge problem, because even when you are 35 and you get the whole like singles scheme, whatever they call it, the thing is they will not prioritize you to get bigger houses. simply because you are single and the HDB and the government does prioritize families, or the concept of what a nuclear family is, right? Which is a man, a woman, and kids. The thing is, for gay couples who want to start a family, like for example, get together with their partner, maybe adopt a kid, and get a house, that is right now, that is not even a question.
I try to look at the comparison of the situation in different countries. It feels like in Europe, obviously, it's like more liberal, I would say. And Asia, though, is still in some countries is banned, in some countries it's like social pressure is much worse than in Singapore. Can you compare where the Singapore sits within the Asian countries?
Obviously, there are already countries in Asia that have already accepted.
Like Taiwan.
Yes, like Taiwan is one of them. India has also done it. Thailand has passed a bill to recognize same-sex marriages. And then there are countries that will literally stone you to death in Asia. Brunei, Indonesia, especially in states like Surabaya, Malaysia as well. Malaysia, I'm sorry, I love your food, but you guys got to sort out your politics first. I think Singapore is in a sense that we are better in a sense that we still allow, we are not punishable by law. Like, I don't get stoned to death for wearing a crop top. or caned in public for kissing somebody of the same gender. But it is also this very peculiar state, simply because we are a melting pot, right? Because I think even Singaporeans, as us Singaporeans, we do not understand who we truly are. What makes a Singaporean, everyone would say, would be Singlish. That is an example of a melting pot of everyone's dialect coming together. But when it comes to personal beliefs and religion, that is still very much a very personal or very individualistic behavior. It's up to them. And as a gay person, I truly respect that. All I want is not to stop you from believing in your beliefs or practice your religion. All I want is for me to be able to love the person I love, to start a family, to seek shelter and have a home, to start a family, adopt kids. Simple as that.